So we're here today at beautiful Curve Lake First Nation in Ontario. We're going to head out with James Wheatung to see the wild rice beds that he's been repropagating and repatriating for his people of his community to bring back healthy, nutritious food.
My name is James Wheatung. My spirit name is Thunderbird. For the last 35 years, my main focus has been to try and rejuvenate, rehabilitate, and repatriate wild rice back to our people.
And these are the James Wheatung rice beds?
Well, they're not mine. No, I planted these for the people in the village.
Right.
Because of the health of our people. There's so much diabetes, a lot because of diet and lifestyle.
Right.
And we had, our access to wild rice was taken on us. Wild rice in Anishinaabe is called Minomin. That means the good seed, or the spirit seed, or a gift from the Creator. It was practically all gone.
Right.
And that was due to a lot of reasons: pollution, motorboats. When they put in the locks and dams, they flooded out the rice beds completely. Right. Like I went to the elders here and they told me where the rice used to grow. And so I went there and started gathering seeds and creating these rice beds here as seed banks so that we can put it back in Rice Lake someday.
And so the health of these beds is going to directly affect the health of the community, really.
Oh yeah, in the health of the environment.
And these plants, all the rice seed grows right up the stalk here, eh?
Yeah, there's about 10 to 15, maybe 30 seed pods on a plant. And when the seeds are mature, they shatter, what's called shattering, and that means they break off the plant real easy. Won't get any seeds today off the lake, but I have seeds on the shore that we're still ready to process, and so we can go back now and we'll take a turn and I'll show you how I process the seeds that you use in your food. We cure the rice and we bring it up here to this roaster. I've shared with people in the community, if they can't roast the rice themselves for whatever reason, they bring their seeds over and I'll roast them for them. When you're roasting, it's really important to remove I'd say about 95% of the moisture from the seed. It makes it way less perishable. Right. So we'll just take a bucket and get some of these seeds and we'll put them in the roaster. Try not to let it drop on the floor there.
Wasted it.
You gotta tend the fire. Tending that fire is so important because if it gets too hot, it'll either pop the seeds or burn the seeds. So we put in about 50 pounds and we'll roast it for about between 40 and 50 minutes.
The toasted rice now moves over to this machine. What's this machine called?
This is our dancing machine. This replaced the dancing that we used to do inside a cauldron or a pit dug in the ground. We'd put on our moccasins and dance to try to break the chaff off the seeds. We feed the rice in through the top, the roasted rice in through the top up there. It goes down and the machine's on a little bit of an angle so that gravity will bring it down and the seeds will come out at this end.
It's great to see where food comes from. It just doesn't, you don't go to the grocery store and pluck it off the shelf. It's somebody's producing it, putting a lot of care and thought and effort and time and energy, knowledge. All of these things are what takes to make a great product, and what James is creating here is not only a delicious food source, but he's bringing back knowledge to a community.
One of our great spiritual leaders, Eddie Benton Benet, wrote a book called the Mishomis Book. In that book, he talks about how our people were making these great migrations across Turtle Island. They found these plants that had been prophesized. Through that dream, they learned how to take the food and process the plants that grew on the water and turn them into food. So that's 1,000 years ago. So it's been important in our culture for a long time. It kept us from starving. Where I've replanted this, I've planted this right next to the reserve so that people could have access to it. These plants that I planted here are for the people.
And are other people harvesting?
There have been a few started to come out, and that's, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm so glad. That's what I wanted to see, and people are coming out more. When I was growing up, the only time we ever had wild rice was maybe at Christmas. It was that rare. And when we did, it was pretty well always a wild rice pudding.
Cook 1 cup of wild rice to the package directions. Add 4 tablespoons of salted butter to a saucepan over medium heat. Add half a diced pear. Add a 1/4 cup each of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and sun-dried cranberries. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 2.5 cups of whole milk, and a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Add the cooked wild rice and bring the mixture to a boil. Give it a stir and add half a cup of 35% cream. Serve the wild rice pudding in a bowl and top with the remaining pear.